not. Are you ready?
Let's start now.
No.
Hey guys, welcome back. Work hard, play harder. We're excited that you've tuned back in. We're actually really excited for today's conversation, Aaron. We've got another guest in here with us.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, I just want to exclaim how excited I am because of the topics of conversation we'll be having. And I'm going to ask the questions that the viewers want to hear.
The tough questions.
And just so you guys know exactly who we have in here with us, we've got Michael Clark, who was the co-founder at Bamwx, Bamwx.com. Check it out. Michael, so glad that you could join us today.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited.
So you went to Missouri, right? Mississippi. I know it was one of the M's.
Yep.
Mississippi State for meteorology. And that's where I got all excited as soon as we were like, hey, we're going to have this conversation now. And we were joking before we got started. I was like, I've got so many questions, but I can't ask them yet because we got to have real reaction.
Mind you, I just want to put in there, I went to Mississippi State and I used literally nothing of what I learned from there. Just making sure we know that. So.
That's perfect. Yeah. That's perfect. So, no, we are excited for this, though. Thanks so much for coming in and joining us. And you have a podcast of your own, I believe.
Yeah, I do. I have a podcast. We call it Breaking the Cycle. We were doing it for a while, man, and I've just been so busy. I haven't had time to do any shows.
It gets tough. We can definitely say that.
It's tough to do, but I absolutely love this kind of thing. So.
Is this your busiest time of the year right now with the kind of spring storms that roll in and stuff?
You know, man, we used to have busy times, and now it's just all busy.
Busy all the time.
It's just busy all the time.
You know, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We used to have seasons, but now it's never ending.
So explain to the listeners a little bit about your organization, what you guys do, and how it helps.
Yeah, so we're like consultants, if you will. So any organization that has questions or battles around making decisions as it pertains to weather, that might be, pouring concrete, sealing pavement, planting a crop, managing an audience of 10,000 people, a baseball field. We tell people when to react based on weather. So, and it's not like, hey, we give you a 4-hour window. It's down to the minute. What do you need to know? When do you need to know it?
Yeah.
We have customers like the Chicago Cubs.
Hey. Oh, man, you took it from me. I was going to say Adam's favorite baseball team, the Chicago Cubs.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever felt so disappointed in a podcast so early.
He's a Sox fan.
I'm from the south side of Chicago.
Oh, gosh.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
It's fine. We're gonna let it go. Ow, ouch. Okay, throwing the daggers already. This is gonna be great. No, just teasing.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
No. So we tell those guys when to pull the tarp, when to.
Okay.
We've been in fact, we were involved in the decision to one of the only times in the history of the MLB where we postponed a opening season game for the Cincinnati Reds based on a weather forecast.
Yeah.
And, decisions like that are very costly.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of dollars. So we help people make those decisions so they're not losing money. And a lot of times they can make money if they use the information correctly.
Right. And you work with, I've seen school organizations and different things like that as well.
Yeah, we've basically every industry we have probably a customer of some sort.
Gotcha.
So it just depends. I can't really think of an industry where we don't have a client.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I know that you do in our industry, and one of our main businesses, roofing. That's actually, before I ever met you, I followed your page, and then I'd always just watch for it, man. I'm like, man, I hope he says we got some hail coming or this and that. I found it. And then we I met him with you at the first time.
I was going to say, do you remember the first time we met?
Was
we
that
were
the
at
Derby?
the Demolition Derby.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey.
Yeah.
Your dad was there with you, and I've never seen somebody whip out a card so fast in my entire life. He was like, hey, you guys are in roofing, you need this information.
That was my business partner's father.
Oh, your business partner's father. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. So, I remember that. That was good.
Yeah, no, that was cool, man. But then I've always just followed you, and it's funny. I track yours more than I think anything. and I really watch it, and I'm like really paying attention to what you say, because I feel like every time that you've said something, like it's been pretty spot on. So I do appreciate it.
Oh yeah, dude, we need to get you guys as actual customers. You need to sign up for our services.
Well, it looks like you actually have 30 minutes to talk to us now after this. You said you had to run out in 45. You got an hour and 15?
Yeah. But no, we offer like one thing a lot of folks don't know that we do is a lot of forensic stuff. Like we appear in court cases.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
If an insurance company's making a claim, and it's we've been involved in multi-million-dollar deals where it's like, no, this happened.
Are these like appraisals and arbitrations and things like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So we basically say, actually, it did. Here's when it happened. Here's how it happened, in a detailed report. And that's just one of many things that we do.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you were saying that you are in like almost all industries, I was going to say even the stay-at-home mom industry, because my wife is like follows your guys' stuff to the T. She knows about storms before I do. It's crazy. She loves it.
That part is, and I apologize in advance. I love all the stay-at-home mom fans. That part's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, I'll bet. You said there was going to be. That's funny.
Yeah. They, and they're great. Those are just the real technical ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my wife on the way here, she's like, "Do I need to go to the basement?" And I'm like, I don't know. Do you? Well, she's like, "Well, it's windy out," and I'm like, "Okay." If there's a tornado warning, and it's coming to our house, I'm probably going to let you know.
I'll text you.
You don't just need to head to the basement.
I forgot to tell you about
Yeah. Oh, sorry, by the way.
Class 5 or whatever. I don't know what they're called.
So,
I have this
E4s or
image
something.
of his wife standing in front of a leveled home with her hands on her hip. Like, you didn't tell me it.
Yeah. That'd be a bad deal. I'd be in trouble.
You'd be in trouble for sure. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
That's super interesting. So yeah, obviously super connected with us, and this is also it's a fun and a bit taboo. I always joke about we've got a couple guys on our team that they'll post on our company feed or whatever, like, oh, there's a storm coming, and there's two guys in particular that we finally got to the point where like anytime they post about a storm or weather activity, it like will split and go around our service area.
Yeah.
And so we're like, you guys are not allowed to talk about storms anymore. And
I'll call him out, Nick.
Yeah, Nick and Joe.
Don't ever
Stop it.
talk about storms.
One of my biggest pet peeves, man, is guys that they just claim they know just as much as someone like I do in that particular area.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as like I'm beating my own drum or I'm the best and you're an idiot. What I mean is like, your profession is this.
Yeah.
Over here, you're really good at that, but don't do that. Because it's misinformation. It's I've been doing this for 20 years. Well, that's great, but you still suck at it. So,
Right.
Actually, it's hilarious. I just heard this. I swear to you, 15 minutes ago in here, Dalton, one of our sales guys,
You're just throwing everybody under the bus today, but keep
No,
going.
this is good. Props to Dalton. He was in here and he went and looked at a roof and it was done wrong. And the lady was like, "Well, my cousin Billy did it, and he's been doing roofs for 25 years."
See?
And Dalton had the best about it. He goes, "Well, ma'am, I've been running since I was a child, but I'm not an Olympian." And I was like, "Oh, shit."
okay.
I was like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So
It's so true,
That
man.
kind of goes along with what you're saying.
Yeah, like I would never climb up on a roof and be like, I'm going to post this. This needs this.
Right.
Right.
I have no idea.
Right.
But everybody's a meteorologist.
Yeah,
It's weird. It's just like the thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I got that tingling in my elbow. It seems
Every
like it's
time.
going to rain.
Yeah, sit down. Sit down.
That's fantastic.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
dude. No, that's funny. I'll tell one more story, which doesn't really have anything to do with anything, but it's my only meteorologist story. So I grew up on the west side in Chapel Glen, if you guys know where that's at. My neighbor was Bob Gregory.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, he was my neighbor right here, literally next door. And I was probably 8 or so. I guarantee you Bob Gregory hates me to this day.
I could just see a
because-
young Aaron out there like, Missed that one, didn't you, Bob?
I would just ask him shit as a kid. I was a pretty wild kid, man. And I'd just be like, hey, Bob, what's the weather going to be like today, Bob? But he was always so nice. He was just like, cloudy. And then just get his mail and go in. And that was the end of it. But yeah.
He was a legend, man, for a while around here. He was on air for years.
Yeah, and then his son, Kevin, I think, kind of took over.
Yeah.
I harassed that dude, too. I glued rocks and grass to a piece of paper once and sold it to him for $1. And he bought it from me.
Hold on. You glued rocks and grass to paper, and you sold it.
So first of all, my sister was older than me, and
We're going to talk about sales, and one of the things we have. That's why I want to pause here for a second and how you sold a piece of paper with rocks and grass on it. Please proceed.
Me and my sister were making art, and we were gluing grass and rocks to a piece of paper, and then we get it done, and she's like, "You should go sell this to the neighbors." And I'm like, "All right." So I walk over to Bob Gregory's house, and Kevin Gregory answers the door, and I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember my pitch, but whatever it was, buy this art that I made for $1. And he gives me $1 and goes, you shouldn't be selling this.
This is phenomenal.
I take the $1 and I go back home.
Did he keep it, or was he like, here's $1 and keep your artwork?
I think he probably took it and chucked it. But I'll tell you, I got the point, though, because I didn't try selling anybody else paper art.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was at that very moment. Young Aaron knew.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Got some money here.
So life is for sale.
Yes, sir.
And I think probably a great segue right into that conversation topic.
Yeah, man. I think, I always preach to my staff that your entire life is a sale, kind of everything that you do. I mean, you have to have a skill. It's like, Grant Cardone said it best, sell or be sold, and I kind of think it's critical that people just know that everything they're doing in some way, shape, or form is a pitch of some sort. Like, you need to get people to, believe in what you're saying. You need to get people to follow you. You need to get people to buy your product. You need to get, think about when you get married, man. Like, you gotta pitch your wife. You gotta get your wife in on it, man. Well,
so, you always see the guy with the wife that's a little bit harder than me. Like, he's a good salesman.
Absolutely,
that's exactly the first thought.
Yeah. So I just live by that. I believe that to my core. So.
No, I agree completely. I had the opportunity to be involved with Dale Carnegie training for a couple of years, and it's the same thing. This idea and concept that every conversation, even an introduction to someone new, is a sale. And so I think you're spot on with that. So when you talk about life being for sale, and a lot of conversations are sales-based conversations, what are some of the things that do you always have that in your mind at all times when you are having a conversation? And I also want to preface all this by saying, it's not about being like a skeezy salesman and always trying to get something from someone. It's just, how are you representing whatever it is or whoever you are, or the organization you're with, or whatever.
Well, especially if it's valuable to people, because if you're not telling them about these things and selling these things, are you doing them a disservice? Because if it's something that's valuable to the organization that they're missing out on,
that's huge.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. The way we approach everything is, we're essentially glorified problem solvers. We're solving a problem. A lot of times it may be a problem that people don't even know that they have, but it's basically bringing that to their attention and offering the solution to the problem.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I try to tell my guys, it's like, stop talking, identify the problem, present the solution, close the deal.
Right.
Always be moving towards obviously closing that up. But, it's when we've had so much success with identifying struggles that people have. Like, hey, Adam, you've probably been looking at 3 or 4 weather apps your entire life, averaging it all together, looking at the news stations. You think it's going to rain at 4, it rains at 7. You were going to put a roof on. The entire building you were putting a roof on got rained on. You got screwed. That's a problem, right? Yeah, you're right. I've been doing that. Well, okay, you don't have to do that anymore. Like, here's how you can eliminate that issue, blah, blah, blah. and you just you kind of present it that way to people as we can help you solve those problems.
That's a big piece that I feel like a lot of people miss in sales is, we all, if you're a salesman, you should know that you should be a solution-based salesperson like we're talking about here. And a lot of times I think it's very easy to skip over what the problem is for the customer.
Oh, for sure.
And to your point that you just said, they might not even know that they have a problem. Mm-hmm. How many times do our guys go out to and maybe door knock or whatever, they go out to, and talk to somebody and, hey, do a roof inspection for you. Whatever. Oh, my roof's fine. They don't even know that they have a problem.
Yeah.
It could be beat up with hail. It could be missing shingles in places or bad flashing or whatever the case is. But until you begin to educate the customer on not just that you have a solution, but why your solution is needed for their problem is a big miss, I feel like, in a lot of industries.
I'll tell you,
there's no shortcuts in sales, and I think that's what it is.
No, for sure. But I'll tell you, to that point, like, people are oblivious to that, because using that same example, like 50% of the time I asked them if they had interior water damage, they would say no, and then you go in. So people really don't
go
pay
in and
attention.
look up and see a ton of water
but
damage.
They just don't pay attention. Like, people zone into what they're doing every day. They're focused on the things that they're doing every day, and they don't really look out to these different angles. So sometimes, like with your organization and things, you have to show them, hey, these things over here that might help or they might be harmful, and let's fix them. So it's important that you show them the opportunities.
Yeah, one thing, I think sometimes I think people struggle with going there because it's almost like you're kind of calling out your prospect. Yeah. It's like you're like, oh, actually you do have a problem, and that can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I always say, the most uncomfortable situations oftentimes lead to the best deals.
Yeah.
To the best opportunities. So, yeah, man, it's just kind of getting a little ballsy, I guess, sometimes, being like, well, that method actually doesn't work very well. We have a better method.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about it. Okay.
Yeah. Being comfortable with being uncomfortable, I think, is a key component. Used to work on a product that we would sell and home security, everyone knows that. And some of our processes would be to go in and present what was called thorough protection, which meant literally every opening protected with devices, motion detectors, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detector, everything that you could possibly buy for a home. And I remember early on thinking, man, that's a little overkill. And there was a guy that I actually audibly said it. I was like, sometimes I feel like we're pitching a little bit too much on some of this stuff. And he said, what are you talking about? And he kind of got mad about it. And I'm like, whoa, hey, let's bring it down a notch. But he looked at him, what he said, I'll never forget. He said, who the heck are you to think that family is not valuable enough to want everything protected in their home? Let them make the decision. Mm-hmm. And it was then that I started realizing, like, oh, you know what? Yeah, let's present all the options, mm-hmm. which might even be uncomfortable, right? I can't prejudge the customer, or, hey, are they going to be able to afford this or not, and all that kind of stuff. No prejudgment can happen. You follow the right process, and you got to be, again, a little bit willing to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, potentially. But there was a lot of people that then stepped in. Oh, no, you know what? I do want devices on every. Mm-hmm. And that's just one.
Well, that's to that point, though. Mm-hmm. I think the most uncomfortable part of sales is typically for the sales rep worrying about asking about those things. It's not uncomfortable, once it happens, because half the time, people are like, oh, yeah, no, that's cool. And they're receptive, mm-hmm. and they understand, or at least they hear you out.
Yeah.
But I think it's the fear of the asking for a lot of people, or the fear of the rejection, that's the uncomfortable stage.
And the one thing I notice a lot, too, I don't know if you guys notice this, but, a lot of people, they think in terms of their own wallet. So it's like,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. It's like, they're like, man, 10 grand is a lot of money for me. I better not ask for, to that guy, 10 grand might be a hair on his ass. That doesn't matter.
He's actually got a story about that from his past company about.
Yeah. We invested a ton of money to identify. We had a couple things that we always had to do was whenever we did phone sales was we had to get a deposit up front, and we also had to run credit. And so we invested a lot of money into figuring out what was better to ask for first. Should we ask to run your credit first, or should we ask for the deposit first? And, there's a group of people that thought one way or the other was better. Long story short, what we found out is it was whatever you were comfortable with. And so what we then also learned by exploring a little bit further down in there, the people that were uncomfortable asking people for their credit history first were the people that had bad credit. And so they were thinking,
Projecting.
projecting their own thoughts. And the people that were uncomfortable asking for the deposit up front couldn't afford that deposit themselves up front, so they were uncomfortable with it. And so that's what it ended up being.
Yeah, man, it's funny. A lot of people don't know, but we're a weather business, but so much of our business is sales and getting people to come to our business, and so they pay for it. And so it's a large part of my day is trying to make sure we've got, we actually literally are getting ready to launch a whole outside sales division.
Oh, wow.
Where I'm going to try to get thousands of reps all across the country selling our product.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have no idea
how big was that undertaking. Are you still getting it set up, or is it ready to launch?
No, we're in the works on it right now.
Okay. Is that pretty massive undertaking?
Yeah, there's just a lot of things you have to think about what might happen here if this happens.
So are they working remote then is what's going on?
They're basically going to be 1099'd on commission on whatever they bring in. If they know someone they think they could benefit from it, they're going to give them a referral code, and they're going to make the 10% or 12% on that deal.
That's pretty cool. I actually, when I had my furniture store, we had a thing like that where there was like a referral code built in, and then they got a % off, and like people could sign up to be an affiliate.
Yeah.
So it's like an affiliate type program.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that.
If you're listening now and would like to become one of these partners, please put in work hard, play harder, so we can get 10%. No,
there you go. Yeah, I love it.
Hey, we're going to need to set that up directly.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears a little bit here. Still, kind of in the same vein here, though. But do you like to talk about the difference between motivation and
discipline?
Yeah. So the difference between motivation and discipline for you, what is that?
Well, I think motivation for the most part is kind of a crock. I don't. There's 6 days out of the week, 5 days out of the week, I'm not really motivated to do a whole lot, But it's a mindset of what I have to do, what I need to do, and that has helped me, at least in my entrepreneurial journey. There's a lot of things I got to do all the time when I don't want to. Like I'd rather go, sit on the beach and do nothing. But I think a lot of people think that they're going to be motivated and fired up to do the day in and day outs of things, and it's not the case. I just don't. You know what I mean?
This is hilarious. I mean, it matches up perfectly with a book that we're reading as in the entire company. Have you read Fanatical Prospecting by chance?
I haven't. No.
With what you're launching, I might recommend it to you very heavily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, literally, the entire book is about the premise of fanatical prospecting, what you have to do. And the author, and I wish I could remember the name. I apologize to him.
Jeb.
I don't know. Jeb
is his first name.
All right. Well, old Jeb is a genius. And I felt like he literally wrote the book for our company because, he is just matter of fact. He's not sugarcoating it. He's not worrying about anybody's feelings. He's like, there ain't no magic pill. Mm-hmm. This shit ain't easy, right? He's like, there's all these gurus that are like, hey, never make a cold call again, blah, 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 buy my pill and you're blah, blah, you know what I mean, type of deal.
I do.
Buy my program and the leads will come to you and like all this stuff. And he's like, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is what you have to do day in and day out.
Yep.
It sucks. You don't always enjoy it. You're not always in the mood. But as you said, it's the muscle memory. It's the discipline of doing the actions every single day. And by doing those actions, even if you don't feel like it, it will breed the results.
Yep.
If I don't have an extra copy of that book to give you, buy it. But I might have an extra copy here.
Fanatical Process. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Love to check it out.
Yeah, this is an interesting topic that I could park on and have the conversation for hours and hours. Motivation and discipline. I totally agree with your opinion. I think that motivation is the stuff though that people like. Motivation is the feel good stuff, and I like it personally myself. I love to read motivational things. I like to give motivational things, and I think that there's a time and a place for it. But at the end of the day, to your point, 5 days, 6 days out of the week, you're not going to feel motivated or inspired and it just comes down to whether you're disciplined enough to do it or not.
I think that's the thing about motivation is it's temporary, right? So you can
it's the feel good.
You can continually get motivation, either yourself or doing different things, but you're going to have the discipline there to follow through because there's plenty of people that have been to a Grant Cardone rah conference and then left there and not done shit.
Yep. Most people don't.
Yeah, and that's the fact with nothing against Grant Cardone. I mean, with any conference that you go to, most people go and they even know what to do.
Oh, they talk about it themselves too.
They just don't do it.
Right.
They never do the actions, and that's what separates the people that win from the people that lose. Are the people that are willing to do the actions consistently.
I agree.
Winners don't like to do the same things that losers don't like to do. The difference is the winners just choose to do them.
Yeah. Nobody's like, yay. Like, there are people that like knocking doors, and there are people that like cold calling. It's a challenge them. Nobody likes all of it. But to be a fanatical prospector, somebody that wins, you have to do everything.
Yeah, I agree. I always try to tell my team, it's like, you guys don't romanticize this stuff. It's not, sunshines, unicorns, and Disneyland every day. But if you do that stuff, it leads to that.
Yeah.
Like my life, it's pretty good because I've set it up to be that way because I do the things I need to do every day to play. It's
cliche, but it's also true.
Yeah.
That, doing the hard work sucks. You know what else sucks? Being broke.
Yeah.
Being broke sucks. So which sucks do you want?
Been there.
You know what I mean?
Been there.
It's hard to make money and it's real hard to be broke. They're both hard, but one's better.
Yeah, one of them is definitely better. So I'd rather go out, bust my ass, come home sweaty and tired, and have a fat paycheck than go around and enjoy my day and lollygag and do this and that, and then be shitty on Friday that I can't take my family to dinner.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed, man.
I think one of the other conversations we need to have, and frankly, one of the ones that I'm most excited to have here.
I don't even know what this is. We honestly, man, we never had a conversation about this.
We didn't. But all I'm saying, look, true story. Okay, yep. I've got 7 unused bags of salt sitting in my garage right now because I was told, I can't remember when it was, we were supposed to get like 17 feet of snow. This is like a month ago.
17 feet.
Snowpocalypse?
Yeah, remember we were going to have Snowmageddon come through. And
is that when everybody bought up all the grocery shit like a month ago and then we had 3 inches or something?
Yeah. So in all seriousness, the older I get, I used to work with a guy that used to call it a marsh snowstorm. And I was like, what the heck is a marsh snowstorm? He was like, it's the snowstorm that Don Marsh paid a bunch of money to make up so that way people would go clear the shelves of the grocery store.
He needed to get rid of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and the older I get, I'm like, there's got to be some truth to this. Like, what?
It is. It's when you mention it, the shit flies off the shelves.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It does, and it doesn't take long.
The doomsday preppers, like
people are in lines, I mean, here's the thing. The problem is you have meteorologists, on-air talents, weather service, other applications.
Are they legit meteorologists, by the way?
That's what I'm about to
are
get
they?
to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to
Because you said on-air talent, and I was like, wait a minute. That's not a meteor. Okay, go ahead.
So these people, they're not paid to be right.
Clearly.
They're just not.
Yeah, sorry. I like a lot of them. We work with some of them.
Cool. I mean, but it is what it is. They're paid to present information and attract viewers and marketing and people to watch.
Yeah.
Like the news director will never pull someone in and go, well, you missed that forecast. You're going to be in some trouble. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't happen.
Can you imagine if they did?
Oh my God! Yeah.
They should
telling it for your job. Like, oh, you miss another weather pattern, you're fired.
Yeah. They've never done that. In fact, years ago, what launched my business into the spotlight was a huge argument between myself and another local television station and meteorologist. They posted some stuff about us that wasn't true, basically telling folks not to trust online weather sources. Oh, yeah. It was a big deal. I was on the phone with him and their news director in a screaming match.
Like for defamation reasons? Like, that's pretty crazy. I'd be pretty upset about that.
Yeah. I basically told them to go F themselves. I'm going to do what I want to do. And his thing, do you guys remember in January of 2014 where it was minus 40 wind chills? We had a blizzard. Yeah. People were throwing the boiling water pots in the air.
I did that. I've got one of those videos.
Remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah. So we called we called that storm to happen 7 or 8 days out or something, and they were pissed off at us that we were telling people about this that far out. They're like, "There's no way, you can't do that, and it's irresponsible, and it's clickbait. You're trying to get people to click on it," and so they're telling people we're not reputable. Don't listen to us.
Yeah.
And so I called him up, and we got into it. And I said, you're going to look like an absolute idiot when this happens. It was just one of those rare cases where the stars aligned and we just knew it was going to slam us.
Yeah.
We just knew it. But that launched us, man, because all the news stations, they were all sharing this article and people were going to our website. And then they were liking us on Facebook. And the next thing you know, it was just
That's
bonkers,
cool,
dude.
Yeah.
So, but to answer your question, these people, they don't care if they're right or wrong for you. They literally don't care.
Viewership.
Huh?
Is it viewership?
Yeah, it's it. It's not about, if you want something to be good, A, you've got to pay for it. And B, you got to trust who you're paying to make sure it's good information. And I think it's that way with anything, though.
Yeah.
Like,
I would agree with that.
you know.
So how far out can you predict weather? Like, yeah, let's start there. But then I want to go to, how do you predict weather like this? It's very
The
intriguing.
question is how specific are you wanting to get? Like, if you're wanting to know, is it going to hail on the corner of Southport and Emerson? Not possible.
Sure.
Never.
Is it going to hail in Indianapolis or surrounding counties?
In the next 14 years.
Yeah. Statistically, yes, it will. But no, see, that's the problem is the cell phone has ruined people. They put their address in and they get a 15-day forecast and they think that weather data is designed to tell them what's going to happen at their specific spot at a specific time. It's not possible.
I was even reading there's a difference between the U.S. and European models. I research stuff just so we're all on the same page.
There
when we
used
have
to be.
guests. There used to be. Well, so here's what I was reading, and that's what I wanted to see if this was accurate or not. But there was a difference between U.S. and European models where, like, when you look at a 30% chance of rain, the European model was actually like, you've got a 30% likelihood of getting rain in your area versus the U.S. model was at least like,
it's 100% going to rain somewhere in this area.
Yeah,
and you got
something
a 30%
like that. Is
chance
that
of
how it
being
works?
under it.
So the models don't dictate that, but the different agencies do.
Okay.
So the way that the National Weather Service here in the United States, NOAA, the way they identify a POP, which is the probability of precipitation, the chance of rain on the hour, is basically what's the chance you're going to see 1/100th of an inch of rain in a 25-mile radius. That's it. So if you have a 25-mile radius and you have a 40% chance of rain, it has nothing to do with the amount of rain. It's just, is it going to get wet or not?
Okay. So, all right.
Measurable
business question.
precipitation.
So right now we've got a hard and fast rule. When I came here, we had a couple oopses.
Okay.
And so now we have a hard, fast rule. If there's more than 30% chance of rain in the Indianapolis area, we do not open a roof.
Yeah.
Is that good, or can I tighten that up and because blessing and a curse? We haven't had any more oops since that decision was made. The other side is we do have a lot of I don't know that we are going to change that, but I'm just interested from his perspective. But we also do have some, like, you said you canceled our build because it was going to rain and it's sunny all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the best way to combat that, I wouldn't say change what you're doing. That's not a bad approach. Scientifically, it doesn't make sense, but I get why you do it. So I'm not knocking it. I understand it. But the best way to combat things like that is to literally, you talk to a meteorologist, like you text one and you say,
Look at this guy.
I've got a question.
Look at this guy.
Real
smooth, man.
Smooth. But that's
I wonder if there's a place you could do something like that.
How would we do that?
Yeah, you would subscribe to our platform.
Okay.
We'll tell them how to subscribe.
You go to bamwx.com, bamwx.com, and right on it's the first thing you see. You can select one or two options, and it goes up from there. The average price point for a business entry level is $1,200 a year.
Yeah. Do individuals use it? Do you look at individual plans?
We have thousands of individual users that pay $20 a month.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah.
less than the gym membership.
Yeah. And so I guess it's a matter of, how much do you want good information?
Right.
But here's the thing, back to your 30% thing though, I want to say this. You can have a 30% chance of rain and get 4 inches of rain, or you can have a 30% chance of rain and get sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
And so the only way you would really know that kind of maybe leads into your next question about how do you predict the weather?
Yep.
And that would be how you would,
Constantly looking west is the best I can depict it
that
myself.
helps until it pops up.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you got a pop up thunderstorm and,
So what is it like in as easy to understand terms? So yeah, and I love looking at like a weather map that's like a interactive radar or whatever, where like you can go forward or backward in time, and you do see like these pop up cells and everything. Like, what kind of equipment is sensing out there? Is it pressure? I'm sure it's pressure and ions and flux capacitors and everything else.
So like, are you asking what do we use to forecast weather with?
Yes.
Okay. So radar, a lot of people think that radar shows like what's gonna happen. Radar shows what is happening.
Okay.
It's not a prediction. So if you look at radar, it's already there. It's happening right now.
This is just what's going on.
It's just what's going
Live.
on. Okay. Predictions come from knowing, let's say 100 miles away, we know what different levels of the atmosphere are doing with wind, with moisture and pressure. And so, for example, if let's say we have severe storms working in, okay, but 100 miles east, there's a big pocket of dry air 5,000 feet up into the atmosphere. Those storms are going to hit that pocket, and they're going to essentially dramatically weaken. We would know that because we know what's going on over there.
Okay.
So if someone reached out to us and said, man, there's a big line of storms coming in, looks like it's going to smash us, our answer is going to be, actually, it may not even rain. It's going to completely dissipate and dry up because of what we're seeing here. Now, we get that information from weather balloons, satellite, that type of data that takes samples of the air, and we ingest it and we look at it. And we say, okay, what's it saying? That helps us formulate a prediction.
Gotcha. So the prediction then is really coming from, it's really a database decision based off of history and some intuition.
It's coming from the head, honestly. I mean, you look at weather models and predictions, they're all designed by scientists who've come up with fancy calculations and formulas on doing predictions. It's all math. Mm-hmm. But it's really just experience. It's just watching how patterns behave, knowing what drives it, and then using those experiences to make decisions.
Yeah.
And that's why a meteorologist, a professional, actual person, is always going to be better than any app or weather forecast that you can look at on your phone.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of spreadsheets and stuff like that.
I don't think I need the service anymore. I got this.
Yeah.
No, actually, my eyes started crossing a little bit. My ADD slightly kicked in, and I was like, I was
seeing how all this is plotted on a spreadsheet and everything. Did you see me lean in on that?
Yeah, he's the spreadsheet guy. I'm not the spreadsheet guy. I'll be applying for the services.
Okay, next hard hitting question.
Okay.
Why is it milk, eggs, and bread?
Oh, God. I don't know. Some idiot came up with that. I don't know who came up with that, dude. I'm not sure.
It's always
I never understood
Put
it.
toilet paper on the list now too. I feel like anytime anything happens in the world these days, it's
toilet paper
is the first thing that goes.
When that went out and people were hoarding it, like I tried to.
I just don't understand.
Dude, I don't get it, but
Where did it go?
I got online and I tried to help people because they had sanitary wipes on Amazon, and I was like, "Hey guys, just so you know, like this, if you can't find any toilet paper, there's some other options."
Yeah.
And dude, I got like destroyed by like I think my own mom.
Damn you and your logical.
Yeah, they were
suggestion
like,
of
"You're
it.
gonna back up your plumbing, like this and that." I'm like,
my
"I've been using them for 10 years." Like, calm down. Like, if you don't want them, that's fine. Quit buying all the TP.
Dude, I don't know where it came from, but it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the French toast index? I'm like, you're an
Exactly.
idiot. I don't know. I don't know what it is, I'm not sure. So it's crazy.
Well, thanks for at least laughing at that question. I was like, he's either gonna get really ticked or
No.
we're gonna get that. No, that's fine.
He's probably callous to these things by now.
Oh yeah.
It is.
I do want to say one thing just before we move to the next subject on your percentages and your prediction thing. I think it's critical that people know this, and it's just something I'm passionate about. Forecasting weather down to an address or a specific location, you can't do it. So quit expecting it. It's not, the technology doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You just can't. Now, generalized summaries for all weather models, just so people know, all apps, everything people are looking at, future radar projections that you're seeing on news stations, these types of things. All weather models are programmed to give you a forecast within a 25-mile radius of a point.
Okay.
So if we're looking here, 25-mile radius, that data is analyzing that whole radius.
Right.
So it could happen up there. It may not happen down here.
Right.
And that's why people think the weatherman get it wrong half the time and still get a paycheck.
Just for you, they got it wrong.
Right.
But for them, they got
Correct.
it right.
Exactly. So I just feel like people need to know that it's
That's good.
It's not location specific. It's technology.
Did you see the I don't know if it was a meme, but it was like a thing that came out. I think I saw it like, maybe 6 months ago or whatever, where like people started realizing that it's like not 30% chance that it's actually going to rain. It's 100% chance that it's going to rain in 30% of the location. Yep. And myself included, everybody was like, what? Like,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
It was just like a stunner to everybody,
yeah.
myself included, like I said. And I was just like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah. Like, I just thought these guys got it wrong 95% of the time.
Well, you think about severe weather predictions too, and let me know if I'm talking too long. Or
no, man, that's what we're here.
But you think about severe weather predictions. We'll forecast the probability of hail within 25 miles of a point.
Yeah.
That might be 5%, or a high end for here is a 20% forecast of hail. That's high end.
Yeah.
Within a 25-mile radius. You see that here, someone in that radius in that location is probably going to get slammed. But it's only a 20% probability.
Yeah. And so is severe weather easier or harder to predict than mild weather because of the nature and how they enact? Because there's a lot more pop up and all that kind of stuff.
That's a great question. I would say it's probably more challenging because when you look at just impact-based forecasting, people want to know what's going to impact them. And if you say there's a chance of hail and tornadoes today and they get a thunder shower, they're like, well, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
There was no hail and tornado. Well, actually over in Carmel, they had 2-inch hail.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a neighborhood over there that's completely destroyed.
Right.
I know yours didn't. But so people they don't understand that. That's why winter when you forecast snow, it plays with emotions.
Yeah.
Because it impacts everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone gets snow.
Yeah.
So it's a little different.
I like it.
This is kind of a question from me personally here.
And you need to get your notepad.
Yeah. Well, I've got that photographic
we can
memory
record
working.
it. You can watch the recording.
I've got that photographic memory working.
Oh, yeah.
What is it about Indianapolis, which has, in my opinion, a super strange weather pattern where for some reason Interstate 70 that runs right through the middle of Indianapolis is a dividing line. This is a fair question, is it not?
It is fair.
Where it's really weird that the weather pattern is drastically different. And I jokingly say right on that dividing line of 70, but in a lot of cases it is where like typically above 70, so in your Fishers and your Carmel and Noblesville and in those areas, they do see a lot more snow than we do, even just 15 miles south of that. But it seems like that line is there year after year, not even,
the last, I won't say, so June 18th of 21, there was hail everywhere. But like the last 8 hailstorms before that, like major ones, were all up there. And a lot of them came down and they go through like Whitestown, Carmel, Fishers, then push over to what's the green over there? Greensburg, Greenfield, whatever the green is out east. But it was always that like, I felt like, to your question, it always feels like that same swath up there. And I'm like, at the time, I hadn't replaced my roof yet. I'm like, can we get some hail down here, please? You know what I mean? Finally, I just did it retail. But yeah.
Is the jet stream that consistent?
Yes, that's a.
I'm a genius. I'm a genius.
He Googled stuff.
I didn't know.
You looked it up.
But that's what it is.
Yeah, so it's just happens to be the geographical location of where we are and where storm systems track. It's climatology. It's kind of where do things go, and it happens to be I-70 is this wonderful landmark. And people think it scientifically impacts or affects weather patterns. It doesn't.
It's just coincidental.
It's just coincidental.
Yeah.
I will tell you this though. There is a known phenomenon known as the urban heat island effect. So Indianapolis is what we would call urban heat island. Puts off a lot of heat into the atmosphere.
The buildings and the asphalt and the reflection of windows and all that.
That can alter the pattern. That can alter the path of a storm. Like if you see a storm coming and it splits Indianapolis, it probably will. That's why a lot of times tornadoes do avoid large, dense populated cities. Now it didn't this year when it hit Atlanta earlier this year, but 99% of the time it just doesn't happen. The urban heat island thing is a real thing. So it's really interesting.
Never knew that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Look at that. Weather is cool, kids.
Yeah. I've got a couple more questions if you're still good on time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Was that 45 minutes thing a joke or was that a real thing?
I don't remember saying it, so it must have.
No, what happened is you told him we were going to be on for 3 hours. He's like, I'll give you 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that was a joke.
I was like, dang, he's really got to go in 45 minutes. No. Good.
So we're on for 3 hours.
So we are on for 3 hours, just so you know.
I'm going to check radar while you're talking. We have a line of storms moving in.
We do.
Yeah.
Now, is that the actual storms from Texas? It was like they worked their way up?
Yeah. It's the same storm system, but
so this is to show the camera over my shoulder here. Yeah.
So this is if you can see it, but this is a line of later. This is a line of storms moving in, but the wind along this line is probably 60, 70 mile per hour winds.
Really?
Yeah, moving this way. It'll be here in 1 hour. So in 1 hour, we'll probably get hit.
All right. Good, so it's coming.
Is there some hail?
It's coming
that?
from the southwest to the northeast.
Wind though, 70 mile an hour winds. That's good.
Yeah. Well, we pray for everybody's safety with the wind. I like hail more personally. I don't ever see too much bad happen to people, but a couple dings on roofs, I'll be happy about.
Yeah, there's no real hail with it. It's just heavy rain and a lot of wind.
Yeah. So
a second ago, you used a big fancy word, climatology.
Yes.
Which I appreciate, but let's get a little controversial here. Maybe this will make the podcast, maybe it won't. But global warming.
Oh, yeah. Global warming was a political thing that made Al Gore a lot of money.
Okay.
That's all I'll say on that. I do believe that the climate is changing.
Sure.
Yeah.
The climate fluctuates, weather patterns change.
But the climate's been changing forever, right?
It's constantly evolving. I mean, this used to be a glacier where we're at. I mean, this used to be a mountain of ice.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's constantly changing and evolving. We have weather data for roughly 200 years. Earth is 4.7 billion years old. So you cannot tell me, and even if you did, I wouldn't believe you that we
I like
know,
the disclaimer.
that we knew that the planet's so much warmer now than it was 2.4 billion years ago.
Right.
Like, I just think that's crap. I think it's been really warm, and I think it's been really cold, and I think it goes back and forth. But global warming it's misleading. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in it. So
interesting.
Yeah, climate change, I do.
I think things are definitely I mean, it's as simple to say like I'm no weatherman. First of all, let me go ahead and state that to the cameras and everything.
Really?
I'm not a weatherman.
We didn't know.
Wow.
We didn't.
Yeah. I just want to make sure everyone got that. But what I can tell you is, as young Adam, a little boy, I remember Thanksgiving, we would go to my Aunt Cheryl's house every year.
Okay.
And I don't think it was on Thanksgiving. I think it was actually the Saturday before Thanksgiving that we would typically go. It might have been the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I can't remember. Regardless, it was around Thanksgiving. It was a Saturday. It was always that Saturday was the first time that it snowed. And that was just the way it was my entire childhood.
It just
now
always
it doesn't
happened.
snow until
Ever?
Yeah, ever. Or and granted, this was further north, up in the Chicagoland area, but now it does. Yeah, it either doesn't snow or the first snow doesn't happen until like later January.
Yeah.
We had in 2015, 2016, we had the strongest what we call El Nino ever to occur.
I think I learned about that in school.
Yeah.
El Nino.
That's the temperature of the water in the Pacific Ocean. So it was the warmest it had ever been. Very, very warm. Like
In recorded history.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Very good.
So for 200 years.
Yes. 100 and for that data set, probably 200 years. Yeah. But
I'm following along, guys.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So that alters, that's our biggest global pattern driver. What drives weather patterns is the equatorial Pacific Ocean. What are the waters doing there? What's the wind direction? That controls the jet streams. That heavily altered our weather patterns. This year, we're in our third year La Nina. All right. We've never had a fourth year.
El Nino. Now we're in La Nina.
El Nino is warm water. La Nina is cold water.
Okay.
All right.
And they're very important because when we're coming out of La Ninas, severe weather seasons they're active. So be ready for a lot of severe weather this year. So I know you guys are deep inside your.
Look, I don't wish for anything like bad for anybody.
I get it.
Again, we
You know
pray
what
for
I mean?
human safety.
Yeah.
Human safety, but like, if you need a new roof,
Yeah, let us.
like hopefully you get a couple little pellets. It's not gonna hurt anything. Just
We know some guys you can call for a free, no obligation inspection.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those have altered our winters and our summers and stuff dramatically over the last 10 years. So
that's actually super interesting. Like we joke around and stuff. Like we try to keep it entertaining, man. But like this is really because I didn't know literally any of this stuff, and it's really cool to find out because. As just a normal person, like you're not walking around just like, what's the weather going to be like? You don't actually think what affects it, where it comes from, all these different things. And, a water stream down here by the equator is what's affecting what's happening at your house thousands of miles away. I mean, that's pretty wild, man.
Oh, it's crazy.
it is crazy.
So then my theory of, I'll try to describe it this way. I've wondered if the calendar and the weather have gotten off of sync to a degree.
Yeah.
Because it also does feel like it takes a lot longer to get warmer in spring now than it used to when I was a young lad
And it's
as
not
well.
snowing in December as much.
So like it is the atomic clock or something off where the weather has shifted slightly based on the calendar that I knew, which was only 25 years ago. And again, if you're talking about this massive amount of time, that would be a very, very quick shift. But are we just kind of in the middle of seeing that shift play out?
Yeah, I think we're in the middle of it. I mean,
Is that a theory, by the way, that's out there, or am I making something up like that?
no, a
up?
lot of people think that.
Oh, okay.
No, people ask us that all the time, and it's really just based off global weather patterns, primarily El Nino, La Nina, et cetera. When we're in these La Nina states, you guys remember the fancy buzz term polar vortex?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I
that
haven't
has
heard that one in a while.
Yeah, that's been bothered and annoyed. The vortex has, which is why in a couple weeks we're going to get really cold, and we're not done with snow yet this year. So,
Man, I was just starting to like you.
yeah, dude, I'm not happy about it. I'm building a house and I need my pool dug. And
Yeah.
I don't need that right now. So,
I'm ready to get the boat out
He's
already.
got his own
Yeah.
problems, man.
yeah.
I don't make the weather, I just predict it.
Yeah, see, exactly. But no, if you look back to like the 1930s, the 1940s, even into the 50s, there were just not a lot of snow, not a lot of rain, hot, dry summers. That's the Dust Bowl, the 1930s. It was the driest period in recorded history. It didn't rain for like 8 years.
Shit.
I mean, seriously. So like, it's not, the problem is it's just perception. Perception's reality to people. They think, well, it just doesn't snow anymore. No, that's not true. Just a few years ago, we had 54 inches of snow. We've had multiple winters where we only get 10 inches of snow. It's actually not that uncommon. It's just the stage we're in. It'll go back. It'll go back.
It's funny. I just have the worst timing. So if we do ever want a good snow, well, let me start here.
I know exactly what I could do.
So, hold on. You got yours. I got mine.
I'd love to know.
I'll bet they're similar.
Yeah. We had a big snowstorm maybe in 15, 16, I don't know, some years ago. I was like, shit. I went and bought a snowplow for my four-wheeler.
There you go.
My driveway is like 200 yards,
Yeah.
right? And so I went and bought a snowplowed the shit out of it for that one thing. And then it never snowed again. And then it didn't snow for like 4 years. And like now it's just been light snow. So I'm like, as soon as I get rid of that snowplow, there is going to be the blizzard of the century.
Yeah.
I know it.
Hook that thing up, man, next week.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to get it on then.
I don't like that he just said that.
All right. I'm going to have it ready to rock
He
next
said
week.
be ready.
Next week's one of those It's one of those.
Hey, Durango, we're going to have to edit this immediately and get it out. Otherwise, this is going to be outdated information. So we might need to release this one on Monday.
Yeah, you get it out as soon as you can.
Okay,
because I
let's
don't
get this
want
out
it
on
to
Monday.
be
Stale.
bad data.
Yeah.
But no, there are certainly indications. In fact, I'm just kind of, as I'm talking, I'm pulling up some of these weather models. But there's certainly indications of a big snow being possible next week. So keep it. Follow BAM Weather on our socials. But this is a huge storm.
And so
Next weekend.
real
Take
quick,
a screenshot of that real quick, and then if you can send it to Durango, we can post that.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, but when you say BAM Weather, though, it's Bamwx,
Ba-
right?
yes.
So let me clarify, because I asked the question. I've been calling him Bamwx since, because we've never talked about his business. I've been calling him
Wayne Xavier.
Bamwx forever. And then I get in here, I'm like, what the hell, WX? And then he's like, oh, that's like the term for weather in the weather. And I'm like, oh, that's the known term. Okay, so it makes more sense. It's BAM Weather, but it's bamwx.com, I'm assuming, or yeah, that's his Facebook page. So that's how you find it. If you put in BAM Weather, I don't know if that'll pop up or not.
I think it might.
Yeah.
But that's a good point.
You know what?
Yeah.
Nothing like the present to find out.
Jump on the old interwebs.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you, I'm going to send you the screenshot. So
You popped up immediately on Facebook.
There we go. Perfect.
All right, let me check Google.
So I'm not firing my chief marketing guy when I get back. Here, I'm going to send you that screenshot.
This conversation's been a lot of fun. It was interesting how we started off talking about sales and we were going to get real businessy, and then we just couldn't wait anymore and got right into weather stuff.
I love it, man, because I love the opportunity to.
Number one search results for BAM Weather. So yeah,
Okay.
You can put BAM Weather in. Forget I said anything about BAMWX.
We'll just edit that
Just
out.
keep it. No, just keep it for your information.
Yeah.
You might need to know that one day. You'll be like, "What's WX?" And they'll be like, "I remember when Aaron, for no reason, told us it means weather."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, what any other like myth like questions I can bust for you before we wrap this up? I love busting weather myths.
Oh, you want to get into busting some weather myths? Let's. All right.
I don't know about you. Think for a second. But I was just thinking about this one thing. Well, going back to the shifting clock on the time.
Yeah.
And it's not a question, but I
They
was
call
just
that the Kaminsky theory, by the
yeah,
way.
the Kaminsky theory. It's probably been debunked. But if
No,
that-
he said it was true.
Yeah, no, he said other people believe it. He never said it was true.
Yeah.
So could you imagine, though, if that was true, and then they all of a sudden had to, like, basically say, okay, actually, it's January 12th, but it's now we're going to make it December 12th. Do you remember the chaos that happened with computers and everybody
Yeah,
thought
Y2K.
Y2K was going to be the end of the world?
Yeah.
Because nobody ever thought to put anything past 1999.
Yep.
So hopefully they have some safeguards, but if they had to reset the entire Earth a month, like that would be some
How old
pretty
were you
big
guys when that
chaos.
went down?
Y2K?
17
We're all
or
about the same
something?
age, right?
I don't know. No, that's 2000. I was born in 83, so 17. Yeah.
Well, I was born in
83.
87.
Oh wow. Okay.
I was
younger guy.
13.
So
83, 83.
any
I'm
nerves?
the oldest guy in the room?
As always. Well, not always. We had that one old guy that was a
Oh, my
that was a
brother.
guest.
Derek.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Derek.
yeah.
Just kidding, Derek. So yeah, younger guy. So what was your any nerves about Y2K back then? Do you guys remember?
Okay, so I have a story on this. I did not. And you know me, like, I don't really get shook by too much. Like, I just go on about my life, and I'm like, oh,
Well, I
yeah.
didn't know if like you got
Hold on. I gotta.
coarsened by the world as you've aged, or
No. I just still live my life like it's going to end any day. That's fine. Yeah, but my mother on that topic thought the world was legitimately going to end, and started stocking up on dehydrated beef, powdered milk, cans of everything, MREs. Like my sister's old room, which she had moved out of, she was living with my dad at the time, was like half full of stockpiled foods, and then it was there forever because obviously nothing happened. And then like later on, I think she was like, after like 10 years, she's like trying to get people powdered milk. And I was like, I want some 10-year-old powdered milk. Get this shit out of here.
Awesome.
how about you? In your-
I just
in your house?
remember thinking I just didn't believe. It didn't make sense to me that, just because a clock shifted or something that the world was going to stop.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, man, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I kind of thought the same thing. And again, I was a young person too. I kind of thought the same thing. Like once they were talking about like, well, planes could fall out of the, I'm like, I don't feel
Don't
like
take off.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
a plane's probably not going to just randomly be like, oh, it's the year it's the year 0, so we don't have planes. Turn off.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel like it was going to be like that. But at the same time, I also did think, there's probably going to be some things that maybe go haywire, or an alarm clock that doesn't go off somewhere.
And
software glitches.
I'm sure there's software glitches, computer things. And like, even with the plane thing, planes are going to fall out of the sky. Like, I got a great idea. Until 1 o'clock in the morning and you check the shit. Like, let's not fly a plane.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I was also like, isn't there some guy somewhere? Isn't there some guy somewhere like just manually changing the date on his computer just to see what happens? Like, let's go to 11/59/1999 and just see what happens in 2 minutes. Like, does it still work or not?
It's too easy. That's too easy.
Quit being logical, Adam.
Yeah,
What have I
don't
told
do
you
that.
about
So
that?
somebody made money off this is where I'm going, and I want to know who
for
made
sure.
money off this.
Probably back to Al Gore.
It's probably it was the powdered milk people.
He's a billionaire,
It was
by the way.
It was the powdered milk people.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Dehydrated beef, powdered milk, and MRE people.
That's awesome.
All right. So to wrap it up, man, we always talk about this is work hard, play harder. And we always just want to know like what you do on the play harder side. Like we've talked about your work and what you do, but like what do you do with your family or yourself or your friends? Like how do you enjoy and let loose?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have a really fun car I enjoy. I have a Z06 Corvette,
Nice.
supercharged.
How long did it take you to get that?
Um,
Did you order it or did you buy it and pay the overage?
Mine is a 2017.
Okay.
Says it's still the front motor,
You got
supercharged.
it right before they went on back order like
Yeah.
insanely.
Yeah, and it's all it's decked out, and I think I had it dynoed 700 horsepower. And
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
it's sick,
so
dude.
it's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of
How
fun.
gnarly does it sound?
It's nasty. Yeah, it's nasty. I love it, man. And then I have 400 acres down in Bloomington.
Oh, that's so sick, dude.
So hunting,
Where at?
camping, just where there's a big rock quarry off Vernal Pike, West Vernal Pike Road.
How close
just tell
to
me this.
Norman?
How close to Norman?
I don't know. Where.
Okay. From Lake Monroe, what direction?
Northwest.
The farthest possible
Literally the
way.
opposite side.
I just closed. Well, not closed. I just got my offer accepted. We got 180 acres.
Nice.
Southeast
Okay.
of Bloomington, like 14 miles. It's technically Norman, Indiana. But that's why I was like, maybe we're neighbors.
Yeah. Yeah. This is just hunting ground, and I love to whitetail deer hunt.
And big bucks down there.
Big bucks. Yeah, big bucks, coyote hunting.
Yeah.
I love guns. I have a lot of guns.
Me as well.
What's your favorite gun?
Yeah. I have a custom built AR-15, but it's actually a 10-inch barrel, and it's actually legally it's a handgun. It's not a rifle because it's short, it's compact, it's home defense, but it's still semi-automatic.
But it's chambered in
223
or 5.56.
and it's nasty. My dad builds rifles handmade from the ground up.
Oh, that's cool.
I've got all kinds of AR-10s, AR-15s, 308s, 223, 5.56, all that stuff.
That's really neat.
I have an AR-15-22, which is cool.
Ooh, that's fun.
Because it's only like 2 cents a pull for the 22 long
cheap.
rifle shots,
Yeah.
but it's fun. It's
The
fun as hell.
308's like $5 a pull. So, it's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that gun I sent you the other day? I was like, we need to get one of these. Did you? You never even responded to it.
Probably because I didn't see it. Now,
Because they were chopping trees down with it. I was like, we need to get one of these.
No, I saw a video come through, but I was
Barrett
busy,
50?
and then I totally forgot about it.
That's exactly what it was.
The Barrett 50 cal?
No. I'm
Has the
sorry.
big mushroom head on top?
I don't remember. We'll have to look at it.
If they're chopping trees down, it's probably
I
It
feel
looked like
that's
it looked
right.
like an AR-15 with a shotgun shell in it.
say a Barrett.
That's a Barrett 50.
Yeah, it was
That's a big-
bananas.
It was a single load though.
No, this one wasn't.
No, it
single
wasn't.
load.
They were
We'll watch
semi.
it after this.
Well, so I've shot one of those. I don't own one, but at 500 yards and a 4-inch plate of steel, it goes right through it.
How was the
crazy.
recoil on that?
I think it's over dramatized. I don't think it's that bad.
Well, sometimes like with the AR-15s, they have the gas that shoot out the side, so it kind of pushes it sideways instead of backwards. I wonder if maybe they do the same thing with that.
yeah, I would say a little bit. I just wasn't that bad.
Okay, it's got to be with that bullet. Like it's got to have something then where it does that. And
Dude, like a 45-70 or a 7mm, like a rifle for like a bear hunt, kicks way harder than the Barrett 50, in my opinion.
all right,
So, yeah.
That's cool. We'll have to I think we'll have to line up the Z06 and the Raptor. We'll have to do like an 1/8 mile.
Bro, he does me. I got 37s on that beast. even with the nitrous, I'm getting crushed. But if it snows,
it would sound good.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
The video in my mind would sound amazing, though.
I mean, I'll give it a run. If
we'll
he,
do
if
that.
If he gives me
guns.
some time,
Yeah.
like, so what we'll do is I'll run and get my time. He can run and his get time, and then he gives me that
car
many
lengths
seconds.
or whatever.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
Let's
That'd
do
be
that.
fun.
Do you have? I'm assuming you do with 400 acres, but do you have like quad trails and stuff out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, there's the side by side, and we had our camper out there. About I think it's like a 30. I don't know. It's a real big. It's a badass camper. But we also, my daughter rides horses. So,
Mine does too.
Okay, so yeah, we'll take the camper to the horse shows, so we can kind of hang out there on the weekends and do that. That's an expensive hobby. I'm sure you've
I don't.
learned.
So I grew up training horses.
Okay.
I did natural horsemanship. So I've been out to Pat Pirelli's farm
Nice.
in Colorado and a bunch of stuff. And then my oldest daughter got into it because my mother still has horses, and when she visited her, and now we board a horse across the street from our house, and she's into it. But I don't do all the shows and stuff because not that it's because it gets expensive or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know it does, but it's just. We haven't had the time to
would
invest
take.
because, like, it literally, my friend Amber Chittenden and Jason Chittenden, their daughter does horse shows, and dude, every weekend they're driving across the country, hauling these things and doing these things. I'm just like, I don't have the energy to invest into that right now.
We stay local. We do stay local, but we'd like to just take it there.
Yeah, but what happens when she's like invited to the Worlds in Texas?
know.
Then you got to crush her dreams and tell her no. You know what I mean?
I'll probably take her.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll probably
anyway,
take
no, I asked you because ours, the property guy was it's called Moto Supreme. It was an old 4-wheeler park. So I was like, if you didn't have trails, if you ever want to come
Nice.
over there and shoot over on the other side of the lake, man, it'd be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. Like, actually, this was, one, I can tell you, the coolest conversation I've ever had on weather.
Awesome.
2, a podcast where I learned a lot.
Okay.
And 3, like, I just had a blast with you guys. It was a lot of fun. So,
This was great.
yeah. So thank you so much for coming on. And Adam, you want to do our cool outro? We don't have a cool outro. He just says.
No, I agree with what you were saying. It was really cool. Sometimes you get around somebody that you don't know anything about what they do, and so kind of the inverse of what we actually started off by talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anything about weather other than we don't build roofs if there's 30% chance of rain. That's what I know about weather.
That's a good plan.
And I got 7 bags of salt sitting in the garage.
Unused.
But when someone's as passionate about what they do as you are and as knowledgeable, like, you can't help but learn. And this was definitely educational. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
He's Michael Clark. Make sure that you check out, like, and subscribe on their socials. Consider membership, whether you own a business or even are an individual and want to get their weather app. Again, Bamwx.com. Check them out. Michael, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you also like and subscribe this channel so we can bring you more great content. And hey, you know what? If you have any weather questions, go ahead and put it in the chat here. We'll make sure that Michael gets it. Maybe we'll have him on again. We'll talk about some things. We're going to post this one the fastest that we've ever posted any of our podcasts.
Love
so we're
it.
going to get this one out right away. Michael will let you know if we get any specific questions, and maybe we might just have to bring him in if we start getting some severe weather patterns. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, it was
some live streams or something like that as the weather's coming in.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can do a live stream while the weather's coming in.
I'm not going to be the guy outside, like, with the live weather report.
You got to fake it like you're leaning into
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
He's got the fan
We're out
on
here
you.
right now. I'm
Now,
not
if you
doing
do
it. I
that right
refuse.
now, it's really windy outside right now. You might have to actually do that.
Awesome. Hey, till we meet again next time, thanks so much again. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.